season. Okay, so the other thing I want to discuss, I have a huge bet with a buddy of mine over the Rockets. Okay, let's go to the ESPN home quick. I had a huge bet with the Rockets. Now the bet is every year James Harden and Russell Westbrook are starters. Um, and they do not win the championship. I pay him $150. If they do win the championship, I get paid out $1,000. Now I made this a bet originally when to start the season. Westbrook wasn't even on the team yet. Oh wait, was he? He was on the team. This is with Clint Capella. And I thought, okay, as a Warriors fan, the Rockets only really lose to the Warriors. Why not this year? Why can't they win this year? Let's pull up Russell Westbrook. Let's pull up the notes on Russell Westbrook. Okay. Why can't the Rockets win it this year with the Warriors being riddled, destroyed by injuries? That's okay. That's okay for the Warriors. Go Dubs. But having Westbrook out to start the first round, ouch. My chances of winning this bet, I might as well give him the money now. I might as well give him the money now. The Rockets were looking pretty good. They were looking pretty good. We'll look at their lineups in a second. They're 4-3. Now, they didn't have everybody healthy. They got Eric Gordon back, which is exciting. Even though he gets hurt all the time, but he could, he can win you a game. I think he had a 50-point game this year. As your third best player, that's always good to have that level of explosiveness available. Now we're going to lose Russell Westbrook. Okay? And by the way, it says Houston guard Russell Westbrook expected to miss the first few games. Team's first round series in the playoffs. That's at least. That may even be more. Like, if he misses 2 games, he may have a shot. But they're playing against the Thunder. This is going to be a fun matchup. Because remember the beef between Chris Paul and James Harden? This is going to be a fun matchup. Rockets really wanted, as I am betting on the Rockets, stupidly, I was looking forward to having them play the Jazz, because Jazz look really, really weak. Jazz are 2-5. They were limping in. It looked like that was going to be a nice matchup for Harden and Westbrook, who could dominate Conley and Donovan Mitchell. They beat the crap out of them before, right? I think that's the easiest matchup out of the West. One of the easier matchups out of the West. So bad draw there with the Rockets. And now they play OKC. Chris Paul versus James Harden. Let's go. Let's get it. That's going to be fun. Now, they're playing without Westbrook. That sucks. But let's see how they did. Let's see how they played. Let's see how their lineups are when Westbrook wasn't playing. Okay? Let me get that typed in. NBA lineup plus minus. Let's look at the Rockets. Okay. And then we'll set it to just August. Run it. And let's set the minutes to at least a couple of minutes. Right. We need some minutes going on. Okay, we'll organize by minutes. Okay, obviously their starting lineup. Let's make this a little bigger. Hopefully everybody can see that. Their starting lineup played 34 minutes, right? 2 games. They didn't actually have their starting lineup the whole entire time. They're going in between Westbrook and Harden, sitting either one of them. But look at their net rating. Minus 14.5. Not good. Really not good. This kind of got hurt by the fact that, again, they only played 2 games out of the 8 with their kind of true starting lineup. Let's look at their second used lineup. Tucker, Harden, McLemore, Covington, Daniel House. What? Plus 23. Look at that defensive rating. 84.6. That is an all-time elite defensive rating. That's crazy. Now we'll look at it as a team in a minute to see what the diffs, the net ratings are. But I want to look at the lineup without Westbrook. What does this mean for the Rockets? Okay. So you replace Westbrook and put Ben McLemore in. You gain more offense, according to the ratings. And you gained a ton of defense. What, is McLemore the greatest defender of all time? His numbers don't make any sense. But maybe it's the fact that McLemore keeps guys in front of him better than Westbrook. Westbrook takes a lot of chances. That could come into play. Let's go up one more. Okay. 18 minutes. Tucker, Harden, Rivers, Covington, House. So replace McLemore with Rivers. They played 18 minutes. Look at that offensive rating. Now, I think this is the game where Rivers went off. Probably why it's so skewed. But offensive rating of 130. Defensive rating of 63. They were locking people up with this lineup. Okay. Again, smallest sample size, only 3 games. Depends on who they were playing the 3 games. I don't know. Net rating, plus 76. Sorry. 67. I can't read apparently. Plus 67. Hey, that's got to be an encouraging sign from D'Antoni. I'm sure they're looking at these numbers as the analytic kings of the league. 63. I think that's their best, one of the best defensive rating team lineups. Yeah. Go by minutes. It's a little easier to see the minutes. Now, you replace Harden with Westbrook, and they were still plus 24. Okay. But their other 2 lineups, their 2 other lineups looked really good. Here's the problem, though. Harden, again, they got Gordon back, so this helps. Is Harden going to play all 48 minutes now? Can he play all 48 minutes? Now, it helps that he didn't play in every game. And let's look at his last game, actually. Let's look at the last game they played. Okay. Against the Pacers, I believe. Let's take a peek at that. How did Harden look? Oh. Doing what he does. Okay. The interesting thing about the Rockets is, even if you lose one of those 2, I mean, I think Harden is definitely the more important player. But they run kind of the same. It's Harden create and or Westbrook create for the other guys and jack up a lot of threes. Now, they didn't make as many this time. Let's make this a little bit bigger. They didn't make as many this time. Right? They shot 28% in this game. That's a little low. They shot 57 threes. Harden had it going. Look at this line. 45 points, 17 rebounds, 9 assists, plus 11 in 35 minutes. No, Eric Gordon's back. He was 1 for 9 in this game. First game back, though. 6 turnovers. Wasn't great. Was getting a feel for the game. I think they have one more game. Do they? I don't know if they have one more game. But if Eric Gordon can replicate a little bit of what Westbrook does as far as production, I don't know how his defense is. Um, they look good. Now, what are they going to do with OKC? Okay, let's look at how OKC looks with their lineups. Okay, we're looking at the Rockets. Let's look at the Thunder. So, in 54 minutes, they came back to beat the Heat the other day by like 22 or something like that. However, that doesn't really matter because Heat stopped playing their players anyways. I think Butler only played like 10 minutes. Heat, I don't think we're fighting for any specific positioning. So it didn't really matter. Um, but Chris Paul, their starting lineup is only a 0.9 rating. Not great, right? Their most used lineup, 54 minutes. I think that's the starting lineup. Only a 0.9 rating. Schroeder hasn't played in a couple games. So while I was a little scared of the Thunder, I think it's a bad matchup for the Thunder because they're probably going to play Steven Adams off the floor. And who's OKC's backup? Muscala? They'll probably play him off the floor too. So Rockets are going to have to play small with a 3-guard lineup probably. And that's playing into the Rockets' hand. Or the Thunder are going to have to play with a 3-guard lineup, and that's playing into the Thunder or the Rockets' hand. So I'm picking this game, picking this series. Rockets in 6. Rockets in 6 over the Thunder, even with Westbrook injured, because I just like the matchup. I just don't think they have the pieces, especially with Steven Adams out there. I think he's going to get played right off the court. Gallinari is all right, but I think he also is going to get played off the court. But let's look how these teams did net rating wise as a whole, not just lineups. Okay. Let's go to advanced leaders. Let's change the filter to just August. Let's see who was playing close to the best. Now, net rating is not everything, but it's at least a good barometer, right? How teams were playing. Okay. Celtics, Suns were up there. Clippers. Rockets were 1.8. Thunder was actually a -1. Now, I think they sat a game or two also. So it's hard to try to use these numbers in a vacuum because how they were. But Celtics playing great basketball. It's important. Well, it's funny how these teams, 8 games left, haven't played basketball in three months. They were sitting players when you need to build chemistry. They kept saying they were worried about injuries, but building chemistry is important. You need to come into the playoffs hot. You need to have a good feel for where everybody is. That's why I was a little nervous about the Clippers sitting, having all these different lineups, different rotations, different guys. Now Kawhi and Paul George can really settle that team down since they're the clear 1 and 2 punch. Doc Rivers, a great coach, knows how to manage his guys, manage his lineups. So I'll be interested to see what lineup after the starting lineup Doc uses a lot. Montrezl Harrell's coming back. Who knows if he's even game ready? I don't expect much from him in the first round. I don't think it's going to matter because they drew the Mavericks, which I think they swept this year. So they have 2 guys they can throw at Doncic, so they're probably going to neutralize the Mavs in 5, I say. Maybe even 4, because they can really lock teams up. And I trust Doc Rivers to figure out chemistry. There's a lot of vets on that team. They'll figure it out. Montrezl Harrell will come along. They'll figure it out. So the Rockets, even though they lost Westbrook, are not done. They got not the best draw. Go back to the standings. Try it again. They didn't get the best draw they could have got with the Jazz, I think. Because Rudy Gobert would have been played off the floor in like 5 minutes. Easy. Rockets would have pelted him with threes. But I think they can do something similar with Thunder. Especially with Schroeder not being in the bubble for very long. He just got back, I think. So the Rockets the Thunder's bench isn't exactly great, I think. So don't count the Rockets out. I'm picking them, even with Westbrook injured, to beat Thunder in 6. Completely unbiased opinion, I swear.